Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome back. Hey Testament Aleph, new parak. Kol hatadir me chavero kodem es chavero. Anything that is more tadir comes first. Welcome. Hatmidin kolmin lemusafin. So anything that's more tadir comes first. That's why a tamid is before a musaf, because a tamid's every day. A musaf is only once in a while, either every Shabbos or again depending on what the korbanos we're discussing are. Musaf Shabbos kolmin the musaf Rosh Chodesh. The musaf on Shabbos is before the musaf of Rosh Chodesh. Musaf Rosh Chodesh kolmin the musaf Rosh Hashanah. The musaf of Rosh Chodesh is before the musaf Rosh Hashanah. That means that again, if you have Shabbos Rosh Chodesh, or Rosh Chodesh is always Rosh Hashanah, so you're not sure which one of the korban musafs to bring first. So it's telling you that the Rosh Chodesh one comes before the Rosh Hashanah one, and the Shabbos one before the Rosh Chodesh one. Now one might have thought that the Rosh Hashanah one would come first. Rosh Hashanah, it's chashuv. Says the Gemara, the Mishnah, no, Rosh Chodesh one comes first because it's more tadir. What's the source for tadir? Something that's more common. Shenemar milvad olas haboker asher lolas hatamei tasu es eila. This is talking about the Pesach. The korban, this is talking about on Pesach, the musaf offerings. Milvad olas haboker asher lolas hatamei. Besides for the korban tamid, tasu es eila. You should do the musaf. And Rashi explains, milvad olas haboker tasuya kvar mashma. Besides for the olas haboker that you just already did, now you have to go ahead and do the musaf, which implies that the tamid comes first and then the musaf. Says the Gemara minalan. How do you know this? Minalan, what do you mean how do you know kol hatadir? I just told you, amar taima milvad olas haboker. Says the Gemara something very interesting. Dilma tamidin hein dekadmu lemusaf mishum de tadire. Maybe when we're going to talk about tadir, I understand. Something that comes every day is going to come before something that only comes once a week or once a month or once a year, whatever it is. So I understand that the tamid, which is brought every day, will come before the korban musaf. But when you're comparing two musafs, neither one of them is coming every day. So I understand, again, the tamid which comes every day, for sure that one is presented first. If you have the tamid here, and again, this is not just by korbanos, this comes by tefillas as well. You daven the more tadir one first, and that's how we always have. It's interesting, many people don't realize that, mincha is more tadir than musaf. So if it comes, that's why we're makbid on Yom Kippur, to try to finish musaf, or to start musaf, I'm sorry, not to finish, halavai, to start musaf before this man for mincha comes, because there's a shaylif, the time for mincha comes by the time musaf is there, so you really should be davening mincha first. So again, this comes halacha l'maaseh, where certain days, if you didn't daven musaf for whatever reason, you forgot to daven musaf, then you'd have to daven mincha before you daven musaf because of tadir. But maybe that's something that you do every day. But when you have things that are not every day anyway, where you have a Shabbos musaf versus a Rosh Chodesh musaf, or Rosh Chodesh musaf versus a Rosh Hashanah musaf, maybe one would say, no, Rosh Hashanah is more chashuv than Rosh Chodesh. So what's the source for that? Says the Gemara, Dilma tmidin hein dekadmu lemusafin mishum letardire musafin lemusafin minalan. So that asher lolas hatamid tasu es eila, that tells me that the tamid comes first. But how do we know that one musaf comes before the other one? Shabbos comes before Rosh Chodesh. Amar avila de amar kra ka'ela tasu layom shivas yamim eila ka'ela. There's a whole question also by tamid in general. Does it mean how many times you do it or how often you do it? Barchi nafshi, you do more often, but l'David you say more times. It's because it's 40 days in a row, as opposed to Barchi nafshi, which is every month. So that's a separate conversation. But over here, how do you know which musaf comes first? Amar ayila de amar kra ka'ela tasu layom shivas yamim eila ka'ela. That means just like you had the tamid coming before the musaf, the next pasuk of ka'ela tasu layom, you say again that you have the olas tamid tasu es eila, then you have the korban musaf. Then ka'ela, this is the famous on Pesach. You may have been in a thing when everybody yells out ka'ela, and then the chas has to wait and then has to repeat it. Ka'ela tasu layom shivas yamim. These korbanos that you just mentioned about the first day of Pesach, which is what the first pasuk was talking about, where the tamid comes before the musaf. But these korbanos about the first day of Pesach, ka'ela tasu layom shivas yamim. You do for all 7 days of Pesach. Says the Gemara, what does ka'ela mean? Ka'ela teaches me not only do you do these for all 7 days, ka'ela, just like the tamid comes before the musaf, when you're dealing with musafin, the musaf that's more tadir comes first. Says the Gemara, crazy. You need that pasuk ka'ela tasu layom to teach me that just like the first day, just like on the first day, you go ahead and you bring korbanos, you go and you have to bring korbanos all 7 days. You might have thought only the first day you bring the korban. That's what the pasuk was talking about. Imkein nichtov eila tasu layom. You're right. If it would have said eila tasu layom, then you'd say eila tasu layom. The ones on the first day you do for all 7 days. Ka'ela, that the extra ka is teaching me this additional thing that one musaf comes before next, whichever one is more tadir. Ikatz of eila tasu layom shivas yamim havamina eila l'shivas yamim. No. You can't make any diukim there. Because if it would have just said Eila Tasu Layom Shivas without Ka'ela, which you want to use for a diuk, what would I have thought? You gave me a list of 7 korbanos on the first day. What would I have thought? It would have said Eila Tasu Layom Shivas Yamim. You should do these 7 over 7 days. Do 1 on the first day, and 1 on the second day, and 1 on the third day. How do I know that I need all 7 on all 7 days? 7 times 7, 49. How do I know that? Ka'ela tasu layom. These 7 that you bring on the first day, you do for all days. Layom ksiv. Says the Gemara, well, no, what do you mean? You don't need ka'ela for that. Eila tasu layom shivas yamim. Layom will tell me that, just like on the first day, it's 7. Every day you do 7. V'akati ema eila layom val sha'ar yome lo yadanakama. You're right, it says layom. So layom teaches me that I need korbanos every day. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't know how many korbanos to bring every day. I would know, tasu layom, every day bring korbanos. How many? Ka'ela tasu layom shivas yamim, 7 every day. So you need ka'ela, you need layom to teach me that not only do you do it every day, you do ka'ela like 7 on the first day you do every day. Well, now we're still stuck because if we don't have ka'ela being extra, then we have no source that ka'ela is coming and saying, just like the talmud comes before the musaf, the one that's more tadir by musaf will come before the other one. Amar kra ta'asu. Ah, you're right. So you can learn from the word ta'asu. Ka'ela, it could have said ka'ela layom. Ka'ela ta'asu. The Gemara was going to find a way. Just had to find it. Ka'ela ta'asu layom. Ta'asu shayu kol asfiyo shavos. All of them need to be shavos, and therefore, you can say that ta'asu tells me between eila ta'asu layom, without the ka, eila ta'asu layom, you know that you have every day. And you don't just have the 7 spread out over every day. You have 7 each and every day like the first day. That's eila ta'asu layom. Ka'ela ta'asu layom is not just teaching me that you have 7 every day and each day has 7, but ka'ela, just like by the first pasuk, the talmud came before the musaf. In general, anytime you have 2 musafs, the one that's tadir comes first. Baruch Hashem. Or, Abaye Amar, migufa dekra. Or you can just learn migufa dekra, the first pasuk that we said, milvado las haboker shalas hatamid. Well, how do you learn that? That just tells you the talmud comes before the musaf. Says Gemara, im kain lema kra milvado las haboker v'tishtok. What do you have to tell me? Milvado las haboker asher leolas hatamid. Shkayach. I know that the olas haboker is the olas hatamid. I know that every morning I bring a tamid. What are you adding the extra words? Asher lo lasa tamid? Asher lasa tamid. Lamali lememar dahach de tadira tikdom. To tell me asher lo lasa tamid always. You could have said, olasa boker, tasuas eila. That means first you do the olasa boker and then you do the musaf. Asher li olasa tamid tells me not only is it here, according to Abaye, not only is it here that you go ahead and you do the tamid before the musaf, but in general you do the musaf that's more tadir first. Therefore the Shabbos musaf before the Rosh Chodesh musaf. Again, when you're coming to bring both korbanos, which one comes first? The Shabbos musaf first and the Rosh Chodesh musaf before the Rosh Hashanah musaf. So they both agree. It's just a question of where do you learn it from. They all agree from the first pasuk you learn tamid comes before musaf. Where does one tadir musaf come before the next? Either asher l'las tamid or ka'ela ta'asu. Kol asu yoshavos. Again, ta'asu. Sorry, ka'ela from the ka part of ka'ela. Zok the Mishnah. Kol ha'mekudesh mechavero kodem es chavero. Just like kol ha'tadir mechavero, whichever one comes more often is first. So to whichever one is more holy comes first. The Gemara tomorrow come back. We'll tell you what happens if you have mekudesh versus tadir. Which one comes first? But for now we're just dealing with kol ha'mekudesh mechavero. Whichever one is more holy. How do you figure out which one's more holy? Dam hachatas kodem ledam ha'ola shehu miratzeh. If you have dam chatas and dam oli, you shechted the karbanos, now you don't know which one to be zorek first. So the dam chatas comes first because the dam chatas is going to give you a ritzoi for chayuve kares, as opposed to the dam ola, which not necessarily is a miratzeh, and even if it is miratzeh, definitely not for things that you should have gotten kares for. Again, miratzeh means you're going to get a kapara basically. So dam chatas comes before dam ola because it's miratzeh, it gives you kapara. But a vare ola kodmin le mure chatas. But when you're burning the leftover bones, then the ola comes first. So the dam of chatas is first, but the avarim of the ola is before the amore chatas. Why? Mimneshehu kulo kalil laishim. Because the avarim of the ola go totally to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to the fire. So that's going to be more chashuv than the chatas, which part of it goes to the fire, but part of it is actually eaten. So the dam of chatas is first, but the avarin of the ola is first. That's chatas versus ola. Chatas, now we're going to go through a whole list, and it's a good chazara of everything that we've learned. Chatas kodemes la asham. A chatas comes before an asham. Seemingly this is talking about shechting the chatas before the asham, but as we'll see in the Gemara, it might be talking about the blood or the amorin. But the chatas comes before an asham. Neshadama nitan ledalit karnos, the al hayisod. The chatas comes before the asham, because we know that the chatas is more chashuv that you put it on the four horns, as opposed to the asham, which only goes on all four corners, but it goes on the lower part, not on the horns, and it only gets thrown in the two opposite diagonal corners, so you throw it twice and it goes onto all four corners, but not onto the horns, and al ha-yesod. Now Rashi points out, welcome back, Mendel. Rashi points out that the yesod is actually that the leftover asham is also poured on the yesod, but it's not mefurish in the pasuk. It's mefurish, and that's why Rashi, you have to be medayik into every word of Rashi. Rashi writes, Ve'al ha-yesod, to the right, 2 lines down, shvicha shiraim, uva asham lo matzinu shenemru. It's not lo matzinu shenemru. We don't see a mefurish in the pasuk that the asham leftovers goes on the yesod. It does go on the yesod, but that's from Chazal, as opposed to the chatas, which is a mefurish pasuk. Says Gemara now, an chatas is before an asham is kodem letoda ve'el nazir. Mipnei shehu kache kachim. An asham is kache kachim. Toda and el nazir is not. Toda ve'el nazir kodmin l'shlamim, but a toda and el nazir come before a shlamim. Mipnei shehu nechan liyom echad u'tu'unin lechem. First of all, because a toda and el nazir also need lechem brought with them, and because they're only eaten for one day. It's obviously more chashuv if it's only eaten for one day. Usually you could eat a korban for that day that you shecht it, and then the night, either until alos or like on Pesach we say until chatzos. But for the toda and the el nazir, you can only eat it that day and then the following night, as opposed to the other korbanos which you can eat, and the shlamim specifically here, which you can eat the day you shecht it, the following night, and then the following entire day. So clearly the one that you can eat for a shorter period of time is more chashuv. Hashlamin konon lebechor, but a shlamim is still more chashuv than a bechor, more kaddish than a bechor. Mnei shehein tu'unin matan dalid. First of all, a shlamim goes on the mizbeach 2 times on diagonals, like we just said, which is 4, as opposed to the bechor, which only gets thrown once. Usmicha, the shlamim gets smicha, you lean on it, which the bechor does not. Nisachim, it's accompanied by wine or water libations. Utnufas chazei v'shok, and you wave the breast and the thigh. So those are all things that make the shlamim more chashuv than the bechor. Why is the bechor kodem l'maiser? Bechor is more chashuv than maiser behema. Again, we're talking about when you have these 2 animals, and you have the 2 bloods in front of you, or the 2 animals to shecht in front of you, or the 2 amorim, the leftover parts, to throw on the mizbeach. Talking about what do you do? And it's interesting, it's not exactly spelling it out, but it would sound like, depending how busy the Beis HaMikdash is that day, the guy who's got the dam ola is going to have to keep getting to the back of the line until all the guys that have the dam chatas are finished, right? So I got the dam chatas and a next, and then they're next, and finally they call his number, and he starts walking up there, and the guy comes, wait, I got dam chatas. Get to the back of the line. So poor guy that has dam ola is always waiting there. Again, I can't say it's always like that, but the point is that that's what's going on. Even if it's 2 kohanim, we're not necessarily, the point is that we're not just dealing with 1 kohen. We're dealing with even random kohanim and multiple kohanim. The dam chatas will always come first. Again, hopefully it moves quickly. Says the Gemara that the bechor comes before the meiser behema. Again, meiser behema is 1 out of every 10. You put them through underneath the stick, and then you hit them with, you put it underneath the thing, and you hit it with the stick, and it gets a red mark on it. So that's considered to be meiser behema. But the bechor is more chashav. Why? Because there's no specific animal that needs to be the 10th. It's just whichever one happens to become out the 10th. As opposed to the bechor, which the second it's born is kadosh, and v'nechal lekohanim. The bechor is eaten specifically by kohanim and its family, as opposed to the meiser behema, which can be eaten by any Jew. Ha-meiser, but the meiser behema is still kodem la'ofos, before birds, mnei shehu zevach. Even though the birds are chashav in certain senses, it's still malik on a bird, as opposed to zevach, you still shecht a meiser behema. And most korbanos are shechted, as Rashi says, which makes it more chashuv. V'yesh bo kodesh kadashim, and parts of the meiser behema are kodesh kadashim. Even though it itself is a meiser behema, is kache kalim, parts of it are kache kachim. Damo ve'emorav. The dam and the emorim are considered to be kache kachim, as opposed to by a chatas oaf, which is only the dam goes on the mizbeach, as opposed to the dam and the emorim of a meiser behema that goes on the mizbeach. And as the Rashi says, as we're about to see in a second, for sure if it's greater than a chatas oaf, it's greater than an olas oaf, because a chatas oaf, as we're about to see, is greater than an olas oaf. Ha'ofas kodmin lemenachos mnei shehein minei damim. Ofos, birds, are still more chashuv than a korban mincha. If you bring a korban mincha and a guy's bringing a bird, he goes first, because at the end of the day it's a minei damim. It still brings some type of kapara. Menachos can also bring a kapara once in a while, but the kapara that's brought by an oaf is much greater. Minchas chote kodem leminchas nedava. If I'm bringing a voluntary nedava mincha, then it's going to be after a mincha that's for a sin. B'nei shehu ba'al chet. Chatas of kodemes olas of, like we just said, if you have a chatas bird and an ola bird, the chatas bird comes first, because again, as we'll see tomorrow, based on the pasuk, and v'chein behekdesha, if you have 2 birds, like a Zav or Mitzorah or whoever needs to bring 2 birds. So if you have both of them and you're going to be Makdish, both of them, you have 2 birds, you have to pick which one's going to be the Chattas, which one's going to be the Ola. So you Makdish the Chattas first, and then you Makdish the Ola. Okay, new parak, Baruch Hashem, easier. Says the Gemara. Not for long. Peites Amavez. Zog the Gemara. Mina Hani Mili. Where do we know this? Rashi says, where do we know that the Dam Chattas comes before the Dam Ola, but the Evari Ola come before the Emore Chattas? So I want to just give you a preface that there's 2 psukim, there are 3 psukim apart from each other, but by the Leviim, when they were inaugurated, the pasuk says, V'lachu par ben bakar min chaso solas bulav hashamen, upar sheni ben bakar tikach lechatas. If you know Shnai Mikra and Vayikra, I'm not saying that I do perfectly, but for those who know Shnai Mikra and Vayikra, it makes this Masechta a little bit easier. But we have to learn Vayikra. But you see over here, you have a par ben bakar, upar sheni ben bakar tikach lechatas. So if the par ben bakar is the Ola, and par sheni is tikach lechatas, what does that imply? Which one is first? The Ola before the Chatas. But then we know that we say V'alaviyim yismechu yasidem arosha b'rim v'aseyas ha'echad chatas v'yas ha'echad ola. The chatas comes before the ola. Not to spoil it, but the Gemara is about to say in one pasuk the ola comes before the chatas, in the other pasuk it comes the chatas before the ola. So what are we going to do? We're going to say sometimes the chatas comes before the ola, sometimes the ola comes before the chatas, the dam chatas comes before the dam ola, and the emorim of the ola comes before the emorim of the chatas. Minani mili tanar rabanu parshani b'makar tikach lechatas im balo lamed shein shnayim arei kfar nema v'aseyas ha'echad chatas v'as ha'echad ola ma ta'amud lomar parshani b'makar tikach lechatas. Why does it sound like this chatas is second? Sheyachol sheyeh chatas kodemes l'chol ma'aseh ola. You might have thought the chatas is first. Ta'amud lomar parshani b'makar tikach lechatas, it's second. If it would have just said that pasuk, parshani yachol tehei olas kodemes lechatas chol ma'aseh. If it would have just said that pasuk, I would think that the ola always comes first. Talmud lomar v'aseyas ha'echad chatas v'as ha'echad ola ha'ketzad. How do you do this? Interesting that the Rishonim point out that little dalid you might have, that the 2 dots is really misplaced here. It's not supposed to be 2 dots. So how do you read this? Ha'ketzad dam chatas kodemes l'dam ola mibnei shemiratze evari ola etc. is kod min le'mori chatas mnishu kalel le'ishim. So just spelling out, it's not supposed to be 2 dots there, but it's telling you why each one comes first. So again, it's telling you sometimes the chatas comes first, sometimes the ola comes first. The dam chatas comes before the dam ola because it's mechaper for greater things, and the emorin, the leftover bones and stuff of the ola comes first because it's kulo kalil, it's kulo burnt, as opposed to the leftover chatas, which is not kulo burnt. Says the Gemara, ve'amai. Fascinating question. Ve'amai. Says the Gemara, I don't understand. What's the question? Matana kamaisa de mechaperes tiktom v'hanachlo. When you apply a chatas, how many times do you apply it? 4. When do you get the kapara? With the first application. So says the Gemara, yes, I understand that dam chatas is before dam ola because dam chatas is mechaper for greater things. But the kapara only comes from the first application of blood. Dam ola has certain character traits that make it greater in the sense that the korban itself, after you're done with the zrika, is totally burnt on the mizbeach. So why do we suggest that dam chatas comes before dam ola? What should we suggest, says the Gemara? That if you have a guy who's waiting in line, so what do? Next, dam chatas guy, let him do 1 application, then get him out of there, let the dam ola guy come, do his applications, and then the dam chatas guy can finish up. What's the obvious answer?
You don't want to interrupt.
Once you start, you finish. That's the easy answer, and that's the simple answer that we're going to go with. If you skip 3 lines, that's what it says. B'ma'arava amrei, ho'il v'hidchil b'matonos gomer. The chatas guy gets to go first because it's mechaper. His one thing is mechaper. Once you start, you finish, right? The second answer, really the first answer, is Amar Ravina, hacha bechatas halaviyim askina, which Rashi explains as follows. When we're dealing with the inauguration, over here it says that the chatas comes first sometimes, which we're explaining means the dam chatas. By the Levium, what sin were they bringing a chatas for? No sin. Some say they were bringing a sin for the bechor, etc., but in general they were not bringing it for any sin. And yet, what does the pasuk say? That the dam chatas comes first. Why? Because in general, chatas is our mechaper, the blood of chatas is our mechaper. So if you see that when it wasn't even applying, when it wasn't even being mechaper, the dam of the chatas came first, then you can bring that over and learn that the 3 applications which are not being mechaper, the dam of the chatas still comes first. It's the same answer, it's just again a little bit of a different limit. So Ravina says again that the guy has to come for sure, the guy who has the dam chatas goes first. Because he's got the dam chatas, the first application is for sure more chashuv than the dam ola. But now, why does he bring the other 3 before the Ola guy? Because we saw that by the Leviim, which wasn't being mechaper, they still brought the dam chatas first. So to this guy, even though these 3 applications are not being mechaper, he still brings the dam chatas first. But then the Ma'arava says, the easy answer, Dr. Lippman's answer, says the easy answer is that what? Once you start, it's going to be it's going to get a little bit out of control if we say, okay, you bring once, and then you bring yours, and then you bring yours, so it just keeps things simple.
But we were bringing chatas. Why did anybody bring a chatas? It's to maybe cover something that they did wrong. So what is it?
Again, the chatas in general is brought for kapara, for something that you do wrong. That's what the Torah says. Right. It happens to be that by the inauguration, HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded that the Leviim should bring specific korbanos called korban chatases. Some say again that it was mechaper for the bechor, but the general understanding is that it was just HaKadosh Baruch Hu said for that one time you're bringing chatas. Says the Gemara, Ibayilahu, right? Can't get ahead of the Gemara. They're always going to think one step ahead of us. So Ibayilahu, you told me dam chatas before dam ola, and the emore ola before the emore chatas. Now what do you do when you got the first number 1 versus number 1? Havdil in the World Cup, the finals coming up. So you have the 2 top guys meet, and then the 2 number 2s meet for the 3rd place. So what do you have when you have the 2 number 1s? I understand dam chatas over dam ola, but what do you do when you have dam chatas versus the emorim of the ola? Or the dam ola versus the emorim of the chatas? You have the 2 number 2s. So the 2 number 1s going up against each other. Dam chatas ve'vari ola eze mehen kodem. On one hand, dam chatas kodem neshem miratza. Like we said, that's why you beat out the dam ola. Odil me'vari ola kodem neshem kala li'ishim. But the avarim ola are going to be brought, and they're coming, and they're going to be totally burnt. Tashma dam chatas kodem l'dam ola. Make a diuk. L'dam ola hu dekadim le'vari ola lo kadim. The avarim of the ola come first. Good try. Adirabba miseifa. You can make another diuk. Evari ola kodem le'mori chatas hu dekadim l'dam chatas lo kadim. So if you read the Reisha, you have the implication that the ola would come first in this case. If you read the seifa, then the dam chatas would come first. Ela mehaleka l'mashma mina. You can't go ahead. Which one would you think? I would think that for sure the dam chatas comes first. It's earlier in the process. The zrika comes before the thing. It sounds like there's a... It doesn't say here, but it looks like there's an aleph by the chatas. It'd be interesting to look it up, but I would think that the zrika of the dam chatas would come before the burning of the ola. Ibaylahu, the 2 3rd place now. What are the 2 number 2 guys when they're up against each other? Who wins? Dam ola ve'mori chatas ezem en kodem. Dam ola kadam de ka'asi mikoach kalil. The dam ola is not kalil, but it's coming from a korban which is going to be totally burnt. O dilme morichatas komin de ka'asi mikoach mechaper. Or maybe the morin chatas should come first because again the animal is being thrown, the blood is being thrown to give a kapara. Tashma, the same thing which we're going to leave without an answer. Dam chatas kodem ledam ola. Dam chatas hu de kadam ledam ola vale morichatas lo. Adirabba miseife vari ola kodem le morichatas vari ola hu de kadam le morichatas aval dam ola lo. Can make a diuk either way. Says the Gemara, Ela mehaleka l'mashmina. We don't know who's going to win 3rd place. And again, it seems like from the bays that the dam ola would still come before the emori chatas, which again, using our sfara makes sense. If the zrika comes first, so then it would make sense. Says the Gemara, Ibayilahu, dam ola v'dam asham eze mehen kodem. Now we know that dam chatas comes before dam ola because it's mechaper. But dam asham is also mechaper, but for less sins. Dam asham is mechaper for lower level sins. So now, which one is going to come first? Dam chatas for sure comes before dam ola. But does dam ola come before dam asham? Or does dam asham come before dam ola? Dam ola kodem de ka'asi mikoach kala. Maybe the dam ola should come first because the ola is eventually going to be burnt. It's from a chash of korban. O dilma dam asham kadam de mechaper. Maybe the dam asham should be first because it's mechaper again. It provides less kapar than a chatas, but it's still mechaper. Tashma dam chatas kodem le dam ola. Listen carefully. The dam chatas comes before the dam ola. Aval dam asham lo. Which implies that the dam asham is not going to come before the dam ola, and the dam ola will come first. Why? B'dinhu di bayi lemisnei dam asham. V'aydi di bayi lemisnei seifa a vari ola kom lemor chatas di tana lemor asham avami lemor asham udekami lemor chatas lo kami shumachi tani chatas. Let's say it outside, and then I'll read it inside. Dam chatas is the highest level. Then you have, we said, dam ola. Where does dam asham fit in? Does dam asham fit in above dam ola or under dam ola? So what did we say in the Mishnah? We said dam chatas is before dam ola. Now, dam asham is lower than dam chatas, and we're trying to figure out where it fits in. What would you have said in the Mishnah if in fact dam asham pushed off dam ola as well? What should the Mishnah have said?
Dam asham comes before dam ola.
It should have said dam asham comes before dam ola, and what would I have known from a kal vachomer? that for sure dam chatas comes before dam ola. If you wanted to teach me that dam asham comes before dam ola, you should have told me dam asham before dam ola, and kal vachomer, I would have known that dam chatas comes before dam ola as well. Because if dam asham comes before dam ola, then dam chatas, which is even a greater mechaper, for sure comes first. Says the Gemara, the fact that it says in our Mishnah dam chatas kodem ledam ola, you can imply that only chatas comes before ola because it's a great mechaper, but dam asham, which is not as great of a mechaper as dam chatas, that will not come before dam ola. That's the Gemara's proof. Says the Gemara, that's the answer. Tashma, dam chatas kol dam ola val dam asham lo. Why? Bidinhu di baye lemisnei dam asham. Bidinhu, it's a kal vachomer. A kal vachomer, it should have brought dam asham. The fact that it didn't bring dam asham shows that dam asham is clearly not before dam ola, and it's only dam chatas which comes before dam ola. Says the Gemara, a nice diuk, but I'll give you a rebuttal for that diuk. Va'aide di baye lemisnei seifa evari ola kodmin leimori chatas. No, the reason that it said chatas in the Reisha is just to be consistent with the Seifa. Now in the Seifa, just saying it outside, in the Seifa, what did we write? We wrote that the Ola, the Avarim of the Ola come before the Avarim of the Chatas. Well, what would you have written there? Well, according to you, you couldn't have written that the Avarim of the Ola come before the Avarim of the Asham, because what would I have thought if that was true? If it would have said in the Seifa that the Avarim of the Ola come before the Avarim of the Asham, what would I have thought by a Chatas? I wouldn't have known. I would have thought maybe the Avarim of the Ola come before the Avarim of the Asham, but the Avarim of the Ola do not come before the Avarim of the Chatas. Therefore, the Mishnah needed to write. The given is the Mishnah needed to write that even by the Avari Chatas, the Avarim of the Ola come first. So the Mishnah needed to write in the Sefer that the Avari Ola come before Avari Chatas. What do we know by implication, by Kal Vachomer? That for sure Avari Ola come before Avari Asham. So in the Sefer I needed to write that Avari Ola come before Avari Chatas, because I couldn't write Avari Asham or else I wouldn't have known Avari Chatas. So I have to write in the Sefer Avari Ola come first, then Avari Chatas, and then we know then Avari Asham. That's a given. So once I needed to write Avari Ola before Avari Chatas in the Sefer, I wrote Dam Chatas before Dam Ola in the Reisha. Once we were talking about Dam Chatas in the Seifa, or Avari Chatas in the Seifa, I spoke about Dam Chatas in the Reisha. But I can't make any implications about Dam Asham. Because you wanted to imply, oh, it would have said Dam Asham. No, the reason it didn't say Dam Asham in the Reisha is simply because in the Seifa it said Avari Chatas, which I needed to say. But you can't make any diukim about Dam Asham, and I still don't know what the halacha would be of Dam Asham versus Dam Ola. I know that Dam Chatas comes before Dam Ola, and but I can't make any other implications. Says the Gemara, we have a proof. Because of the itane lemori asham, I would have thought havamina lemori asham would dekan me lemori chatas lo come. I wouldn't know lemori chatas. Therefore, in the sefer I need to say lemori chatas. Mishumachi tana chatas. Since I need to say chatas in the sefer, it says chatas in the reisha as well. But I can't make any diukim about what the halacha would be by asham. Again, the question was Dam Ola versus Dam Asham. Says the Gemara, which one comes first? Tashma chatas kodem la asham. In the Mishnah, it says a chatas comes before an asham. Now, I told you that we thought that meant that if you have a chatas and asham standing there, you shech them. The Gemara wants to assume that what? Chatas comes before an asham for what? For the dam. What does that imply? Chatas hu dekad milei asham. Only a chatas, the only thing greater than an asham is a chatas for the dam. What about an ola? Not greater than an asham. Aval ola lo. So you can make a diuk from that part of the Mishnah that only a chatas is greater than an asham but not an ola. Says the Gemara, that would be a nice diuk if it was talking about blood. But it's not talking about blood. My love dam, lo a-emorim. It's talking about the Amorim, that the Amorim of a Chatas come before the Amorim of an Asham, and the Amorim we know of an Ola come before the Amorim of a Chatas. So all it's teaching us is that the Amorim of an Ola come before the Amorim of a Chatas, and the Amorim of a Chatas come before the Amorim of an Asham. But I don't know what the Dam of an Asham would be. Dekanami diktani b'mnesha dama nitan shmamina. Again, the Shema Mina is just that we have the diuk. This is what it means. Dekanami, that what? What does it say in the Mishnah? Chatas kodemes la'asham, which we thought was talking about the dam. Where it says it can't be talking about the dam, because what does it say next? Mipnesha dama nitan ledalet karnos. That the chatas comes before the asham because its dam is placed on the four corners. If it was talking about the dam, and it was talking about that the dam of the chatas comes before the dam of the asham, what should it have said Rashi? It should have said the dam of the chatas comes before the dam of the asham because it is placed on the four corners. The fact that it says because its blood is telling us that the Amorim of the Chattas come before the Amorim of the Asham because the blood of the Chattas is placed on the four corners. That's the deal the Gemara says. Shema Mina, that part of the Mishnah is talking about Amorim and not Dam. If it's not about Dam, we don't have an answer to our question, and I can't tell you which one comes first, the Dam of the Ola or the Dam of the Asham. Says the Gemara, Chattas Kodemes, the Chattas comes before, again, the Asham. Why? Because it's put on four corners and on the Yesod. Adirabba Asham Kadem Shekein Yeshlo Kitzvah. We know that the Asham needs to be a certain price, as opposed to the Chattas, which could be even a small price. So why is the Chattas coming for the Asham? If we don't care about the price as much as we care about where it's applied, and since that's applied, the Chattas is applied on the four corners, and it says specifically in the Torah on the Yesod, since the other one, the Asham, is not applied on the four karnos, on the four horns, only on the two corners, it's not going to be as chashuv. Asham kodem latoda. We said an Asham comes before a Toda and an El Nazir because an Asham is Koje Kachim. Adirabba Toda ve'el Nazir kadme shekein tu'unin lechem. One can argue, again, it's always taking the next argument which made the Toda and the El Nazir before a Shlamim. Right? So you could say that it needs lachem. Afilachi kache kachem adife. You're right. Each one you can find something greater, but the kache kachem aspect of Asham is going to trump anything that a Toda has. Toda ve'el Nazir is before a Shlamim because it's eaten for one day and it needs lachem. Adarab Shlamim kadmish ken yesham b'tzibur kibiyachid. Yeah, but the Shlamim is not only a private korban, it's also a public korban, as opposed to the Toda and the El Nazir, which are public, which are private korbans. Afiluachi nechalin liyomeh chad adife. The fact that the Toda and the El Nazir are eaten for only one day make it more chashuv than a Shlamim, even though a Shlamim is also brought as a korban tzibur. Ibayilahu. This was Toda and El Nazir are greater than a Shlamim. But now, what do you have, Toda versus El Nazir? Which one comes first? Toda v El Nazir ezem and kodem. If you have a korban Toda that I want to bring because I just came back from Israel, or an El Nazir that the Nazir needs to bring at the end of his Nazirus, who gets to go first? Toda kanmesh came to una dalamine lechem. We know that Toda brings four types of lechem with it, as opposed to the El Nazir doesn't bring four types. It brings lechem, but not four types. O dilma El Nazir kadem sheken yeshim odam macherim. Or the El Nazir comes first because not only does he bring this ayo, he has to bring a chatas and an ola as well. Says a Gemara, Tashma zu kodemes zu. It's a mefurish brisa shezu teuna dalamine lechem v'zu teina teuna ela shnei mine lechem. That even though the El Nazir has to bring other things as well, at the end of the day, since the Toda brings four types of bread, that is going to come before the El Nazir. So it's really spelling out what the order is going to be. Hashlamim kodmin lebechor. We said that the Shlamim comes before the Bechor. Why? Because the Shlamim has matan dalit and smicha, nesachim, and tnuvas chazi v'shok, as opposed to the Bechor, which doesn't have any of those and only has matan achad. Adirabba Bechor kodem shekein kedujaso meirechem v'nechal lekonim. Maybe that one should be more chashuv the Bechor because first of all it's kodesh as soon as it's born and only the kohanim can eat it, as opposed to a shlamim which has to be set aside after it's born and other people can eat it as well. Says Gemara, filuachi mitzvahs yiseres adife. No, at the end of the day, the fact that the shlamim has all of these mitzvahs of matan dalit and smicha and nesachim and waving the breast and the thigh, it's going to trump the Bechor, even though the Bechor again comes out and is holy right away. Ha-Bechor code. Then we said that the Bechor is before Meiser Behema. Adirabba, why is the Bechor code? Then we said because Kedushaso Meirachem and Nechal leKohanim. Says a Gemara, which is interesting because we're saying that the Bechor is also Nechal leKohanim. Interesting. So again, the Bechor is Nechal leKohanim as opposed to Meiser Behema, which is not Nechal leKohanim. Anybody can eat it. Adirabba Meiser Kodem Shekei Mekadesh L'fanav U'La'acharav. Maybe a Bechor should not be greater than Meiser. Meiser should be greater because it's Mekadesh L'fanav U'La'acharav. I'll explain in a second. Afiluachi Kedusha Meirechem Adifa. The Bechor is going to be more chashuv than the Meiser because it's born right away. What does that mean that it's Mekadesh L'fanav U'La'acharav? So Rashi says on the left, L'fanav U'La'acharav, 10 lines up, did non. If you make a mistake, which you shouldn't do, bad idea to make a mistake by Bechor, Krora L'chi Asiri. Let's say you're counting, and the 9th animal that goes out, you call it the 10th, and you slap it with the stick. Ula Asiri Chi. And then the 10th one, you call the 9th for whatever reason. You're really confused. Because the 9th one, you shouldn't call the 10th. If you call the 9th one the 10th, then you should be calling the 10th one the 11th. But you call the 9th one the 10th, so then that one becomes Bechor. But now the 10th one is actually the 10th, so that one becomes Bechor. Ula Meiser, sorry. Ula Achad Asar Asiri. Now, for some reason, you mixed up 9 and 10. You got your counting wrong. So you call number 9, 10, that becomes Bechor. You call number 10, 9, that becomes Bechor because it's number 10. But now, what are you going to call number 11? 10 again. So now you got 3 that you got to bring. Because number 9 you call 10, that's a bechor, that's a meiser, sorry. Number 10, you call 9, but it's really number 10, that's a meiser. And now if you messed up number 10 and you called a 9, you're going to call 11, and then that's a bechor, and then that's going to be meiser. So you got 3 meisers, and then you should probably take a nap. Says the Gemara, meiser kodem, you can end up giving 3 out of 10. No, 3 out of 11. 3 out of 11. It's not 33%, Rabbi. It's more like 28.5%. Meiser kodem laofos. Meiser behema comes before the ophos because we said that the meiser behema at the end of the day is shachted, even though ophos are chashuv too, but the meiser is shachted, and when something's shachted, it's more chashuv. Adarabba ophos kadmei shekain kache kachim. The ophos are kache kachim; they should be first. Says Gemara, filu hachi min zevach adif. Still, because the meiser is shachted, it's going to be adif. There's a whole new topic here. I didn't get into it in the first year, so we'll stop here and we'll pick up tomorrow.